In this episode of GYDA Talks, Robert talks to Tamer Saglambilek, founder and managing director of Elevate Digital. Elevate are a full-service growth marketing agency based in the Netherlands. Tamer first met Robert at the 2016 Google Premier Partner Summit in Amsterdam, and in 2019 completed the Google Elevator program with our GYDA team. His insight into building a successful 25-strong agency is valuable for any digital agency owner.
And welcome to the GYDA Initiative podcast. Today we've got my friend Tamer. Tamer comes from the Netherlands. He comes from Elevate Digital and a digital agency owner. Hello, Tamer.
Hello, Robert. How are you?
I'm very good, and it's absolutely great to have you on board. It's great to have you on the interview. And in a way, the best place for us to start the conversation is just give us a few lines about Elevate and what Elevate does and who your customers are.
Elevate is a growth marketing agency. We call ourselves a growth marketing agency because we have like a full service team here, from design, development to converting campaigns. We're a Google Premier partner. We do social advertising campaigns. Also, of course, some own media, some organic optimizations. We work for a big range of clients. We have a lot of B2B clients, but also a lot of e-commerce. So we take the full spectrum. And with the growth marketing agency, we have like this mindset of having KPI-driven deals with our clients. So that's what we focus on. That's what we like to focus on.
And how many people have you got there?
Like 25 full-timers, around 25 full-timers. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the story about Tamer, which has appeared elsewhere on social media, is this, which is I'll give you my version, and then Tamer fill in your bits and pieces of it. So I did an event for Google in New York for their global summit, where my friend's Push actually won the award, and my friend's Fountain actually won the award for global players. Anyhow, I was there. I think I'd done my presentation. I was all sweaty, feeling quite okay. I see in the distance this guy coming towards me, wagging his finger, going, Robert Craven, Robert Craven, Robert Craven. I go, what is this? Robert Craven, Robert Craven, Robert Craven, I want to talk to you. And I think, oh no, what is it? What is it? What he said, you told me, he says, you told me to put up my prices. I go, oh no, he's going to punch me in the face. Anyhow, roll on a couple of weeks. I'd hoped to talk to you, it happened to be Tamer again. And I had to reach out to social media and say, I met this guy who runs an agency, and I think he was Dutch. It was a Dutch agency, and social media managed to put us back in contact together. So you give me your version of the story.
Yeah, it was like we've met each other in 2016. You were like giving us, you spoken at the Google Partner event in Amsterdam in September 2016. And I was there on my own. So my partner, Jeffrey, was not there. I was there on my own. And you had this talk about putting up your prices and, oh guys, you're also different from each other. And he was all left. So I walked out and I called Jeffrey, like, hey, Jeffrey, we're going to change something. And the first thing we're going to change is we're going to put our price up. And he was like, okay, feel free to do what you want to do, because I have Elevate Digital. I'm here like managing director at Elevate, a founder. We also have like ad calls, a call tracking software. And Jeffrey is running the call tracking software. So I was like calling him, hey, this is what I'm going to do with Elevate. I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's try this. So, and we did what you told us to do, but I put up my price with 20%. And
I never would have said put your prices up by 20%.
Yeah,
the presentation. Why do that? It's always like, but maybe 4, maybe 5. So you put up your prices 20%. Then what happened?
We also had the buffer to put it up 20% because maybe it was too low. And actually, what happened was there was no client who left us. So we all had, like, of course, not just hey, these are our new prices, but there was also a reason why we are able to put up these prices, because we're investing in education of people. we're investing time and having conversation with each other, visit each other. So we also had a legit reason to put up these prices, and they all accepted this. And funny thing is, I had like a conversation with my brother like a couple of months ago, and because he worked like for 5 years in my agency, and he was like, he made like this suggestion, like, hey, the moment I left the company, it looks like you've like got employees like all over you. Where did you find them? How did you do that? Aren't you hiring too much people? And I was like, no, it's not. I'm not hiring too much people. I've put up the prices. So the moment I put up the prices, my revenue increased, and I had the time to hire people and invest in the quality of my agency. So so it's all went up and all went better actually.
So what was so you put your prices up by 20% to new and existing clients?
Exactly. Of course, existing clients I visited like 2 months before, they were not getting the same letter as other clients got. They got a letter from, hey, we've put up our prices, but we've made a new deal. So at the end of this year, of the starting of next year, also this will also be the same for you. So
and what reason did you give them for putting your prices up?
also like it's like the standard of our the quality we're delivering needed to do the pricing, have a new pricing, because we were investing in new people and investing in the quality of our service. So it was a win-win situation for them. And if they were not happy with this pricing, they're of course free to find another agency. But also like in monitoring, software, using tooling, all are in this price, in the price we are serving.
And let's be let's be clear for a moment. Did you lose any clients?
No, we didn't lose any clients. No.
Was there resistance from any clients?
No. There was a really funny resistance from one client, and he has a catering service. So his price also with a little upsell, a little cross sell, went 3 times the price he should pay. And then he was like, "Oh, but it's going great. So why should I change?" I was like, "Yeah, but it's our new pricing, and it's changing. So we have to take this price, or you're free to leave." I was like, "But why should we change a winning team?" I was like, "Okay, so you're a catering service, right? You're serving a sandwich with the roast beef and rocket and stuff on it. If your beef is getting more expensive, like because my employees are getting more expensive in the market we're in, they're going up like 20% per year stuff almost. Like if your beef is getting more expensive, do you change the price of your sandwich?" "Yes, I am." "Well, my ingredients are also getting more expensive, so that's why we changed the pricing." I was like, "Okay, then we should do it." So that's one resistance I've had. So of course, somebody are having resistance.
And do you think that do you think your prices were especially low and you went from really low to reasonable, or do you think you went from about average coming above?
Well, I think it was like average to, in my eyes, it is average. If I see some other agencies and what they ask, and of course what they tell me to ask, or what we see what they ask, is like it was like from 75 euros to 90 euros, and we went to 100 euros at least, and we're now but it's also excluding 10% of project management. So it's all like now we're like, okay, the 100 euros we're asking is also like for the extra hours, because we don't. I have like a book here, Grow Your Service Firm. Grow Your Service Firm. So we also changed the proposition. So it's more value driven and not on the hours we put in. But of course, there are always clients who have like some extra hours they need, or they have like a one-time job. Can you do this for me? Then we use like the hourly rate of 100 euros plus 10% of all the conversations around the project. So it's also because in the last 6 to 9 months, we've changed the proposition from an hourly rate invoicing to project based, like a more license based of fixed price.
And as long as the ROI, the return on investment for the advertiser, for the client is really good, like your case,
Exactly.
then they're going to be happy. And I think the
Exactly.
other thing is, people are nervous to move because how do they know how good your service is compared with someone else, even though everyone's going to promise the earth. So wow, I mean it's a fabulous story, because, and I remember very clearly when you said, and I put my prices up 20%. I was thinking, I never would have said 20%. I never would have said that. Is this guy about to bop me on the nose for it all going wrong?
I would never do that. So. Not when I'm in New York on holiday. So
anyhow, it's a fantastic story, and the story kind of goes on because so Amsterdam 2016, Google
exactly.
New York 2018.
17, right? 17, yeah, 17. Last year was
17.
17.
And then I managed to track you down on social media, and then I'm running a program for Google called Google Elevator in Amsterdam and London. And what's the name that I see on the list of 40 of the top agencies in the UK and the Netherlands, and 1 or 2 from Belgium. And there you are again, Tamer. So tell me, we're halfway through the program, just so people know.
Mm-hmm.
We're halfway through the program. We're about to have the second workshop. The program is 3 workshops with me. It's coaching, it's some group work, it's some buddying. And really what the program is saying is, this is what extraordinary agencies do, and you can do that too. So what's your experience? I mean, we're about a third of the way, halfway.
Yeah.
What's your experience of the program so far?
It's going great so far. I really like your approach. So it's funny, like in Amsterdam, our first day at 2 months ago, like, of course, a lot of was like, okay, this is Robert, this is how I know you, and I like the style. After that, we have the coaching sessions with Janus. He's also a great coach. So I really opened my heart. Like, these are the issues we are facing on a daily or weekly basis. Like, these are the 2 type of clients we're having issues. How can we handle that? So he's giving really good insights, and he's pushing me. This is the way you need to go, and we are setting checkpoints everywhere, and I'm giving him updates. So that's going great. And I'll also, like, my buddy Akka from IWB, we're having like a bi-weekly call with him, and we also promise each other, okay, what are the next 2 weeks? What are you going to do? And so we're really focused on elevate the companies a little better. So
nice.
Yeah.
And of course, this is all at a time where everything seems to be in the air for agencies. I mean, what's your take? What's your position on all these issues? And I'm not even going to mention any of them, because I'll lead you. All the issues which are confronting an agency. What do you think the most important issues are? How are you dealing with them?
Well, most of the issues as an agency owner, you know that there are issues, like a department who's not delivering on target and stuff like that. Most of the time, you all know that. So what I already also did, we made a dashboard, like, over, okay, how much revenue per department, per person, how much are they delivering, is it on target, and everything I knew in the back of my mind when I wake up, like, this is actually what I should do today. And you're not doing, because you're like you're working on the company, but you're also sometimes you're working too much in the company. So and Janus pushed me, like, okay, so you know that, so show me, and then also promise yourself to do that. So so the stuff you mostly know that is issuing your company or of people who are not delivering on target, sack them. It's like it's really important to promise yourself to be loyal to yourself and to the company, loyal to the agency. So I think most agency owners do know what the issues are of their company, but they don't take the time to make a plan to solve this kind of problem.
Okay, so and what about the bigger picture, the kind of the business environment? We're in a world where there's, 4 years ago, when we first met, Google was the only, gig in town in some senses. Now there are many different platforms where you can advertise. Now there's this huge pressure on well, there's a kind of a breakdown in the world as we knew it. Everything that we knew that worked 2 years ago doesn't necessarily seem to work. What do you think the biggest challenges are? External challenges, issues that an agency has to try and deal with. How are you dealing with those?
Well, just like you mentioned, like 2 years ago, like 4 years ago, it was only Google, and almost 2 years ago, it still was only Google. Now we have all these marketplaces and like this social advertising pops up, like Pinterest is doing advertising, LinkedIn is copying Facebook, and so now, as an agency, you have to go where your clients are. So you have to say, and where our customers actually are of your clients. So that's also a thing why agencies, of course, there are like how you call it, dangers, but there are also like opportunities, because your clients are also facing this kind of changes of where the customers are. Do they need to go to Amazon or other marketplaces? And so as an agency, you also have like an opportunity to be there first and to help the clients. And that's also like what when we stopped using our word like online marketing agency, like full service online marketing agency. Well, we never full service. So we made like, we're a growth marketing agency. We have like all the competence in house, like having a developer, but not all the developers are here. So we'll need to be, it's going all faster and faster. So you need to, as an agency, how we call it, have a mindset of to focus and go to new channels or take the opportunities. Don't see it as a danger. There are opportunities nowadays, but Google is also changing, but let's also keep them sharp. So Google is inventing new stuff, wants to go the competition with Amazon, with Google Shopping. So there are new stuff coming. So it's healthy to have a good competition, I think.
Do you think that the customer is better informed, or do you think the customer is more confused?
Well, it depends on the customer.
Yeah, obviously, yeah.
They're also now like, where should I be with my brand, and what will be the cheapest way? Always says the cheapest way to convert them into clients. Which channels do I need to take on? So they're more confused than I think they're more confused. Yeah.
So do you see yourselves as educators? Do you see yourselves as people who are there to guide and help your clients, or do you? I guess, in my mind, you've kind of got the lowest level of agency, which is a supplier. The client comes along and says, we want £1,000, €1,000 a month. And then as you go up the relationship with the client, you become more of a trusted advisor. It's more consultancy, because you're helping the client decide which products, when and how and where. You're not just talking about which platform. So where do you think you are on that?
Well, we want to be more a strategic partner. So discuss on strategic level what they should do, how they should do it. But the truth is that they mostly don't have all the skills in house to also have like the operational resources to do the job. So it's also a part we fill in, like the operational. But we want to be educational because we do think that our customers need to know what we are doing and why we are doing it. So we can have a better brainstorm sessions about, okay, what direction should we go? They look at their product from the inside out, and we will look at from outside to the inside. So, and together we get mostly the best results. So it helps when our clients have an e-commerce manager or a marketing manager who is really, how do you call it, knows what we are doing and why we are doing it, and has some experience with online advertising or with websites or stuff.
So that's your ideal client. Is that kind of a description of what your ideal client is? So they have some e-commerce experience. They've been there before. They understand the idea of partnership. They're sharing information with you, but they're leaving the expertise to you.
Exactly, and we inspire them with best practice from other clients, and give them ideas like, hey, this could also work for you, and let's try it out. So be experimental. It's also an important thing, the experimental mindset of a client.
Is there I mean, this is always a conversation, these podcasts, so we never know quite where it's going. Is there a case study or an example in your mind where the customer journey and the relationship has changed and transformed? Is there something like that you could share off the top of your head?
What do you mean with without the customer journey of our own clients?
Of your own client, how the relationship has grown and changed with time.
Well, we have a lot of clients. Like you can see with the clients we work longest period with, because every partnership is not always only increase and green lights, and always have some hiccups. There are some technical issues. There are also like seasonalities and stuff. So, but what I do see, if I got your question right, that in the clients we're working, a lot of clients we're working a couple of years for, we have like this carte blanche, you know, like a Tamer, what do you want to do? Like, do it, but just tell me what do you think it will bring me. And if it does not bring me what we thought, like, we stop it. So I think the clients are changing, so we're not dealing with long-term contracts. Most of the time they were like, okay, like if it works, it works. We go further. Well, we have a long-term contract, but that's mostly based on like the partnership. But what we're going to do in this partnership is like, we're going to use Google Ads or go with marketplaces or other stuff. That's not put it in a contract. So that's the way. That's what we change. Like, if this client, if Google Ads is not working for this client, let's try another channel. Or so I think clients are also more like looking for this kind of partnerships. So that's what we're experiencing these days. So I don't know if I answered your questions right.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. So it's very much about a partnership and a relationship, and you having the expertise and them having some sense of what you're doing, but it's it's being fluid, because the problem that people always have, is we've now sold the client 12 months of product A, therefore we're going to deliver it, which is clearly nice for the resource of the agency, but isn't necessarily what the client really wants or needs. And I think, we just need, things are moving so quickly. Moving so quickly that I think you just have to be responsive. So I mean, it's that wake you up in the middle of the night question. Why should people bother to buy from you when they can buy from the competition? How do you separate yourself from the competition? How do you differentiate yourself? What makes Elevate Digital different from the rest?
I think it's one of the questions I never like to answer because we also all need to be honest to each other. We are a growth marketing agency. We make deals on really transparent KPIs. We're all flexible. We're all fast. We deliver good, fast, cheap, everything that. But that's never true. It's also like we also like to be honest and have like realistic expectations of a partnership. So and sometimes in some pitches they ask me like, hey, what do you think of this agency, or what do you think of that agency we're working with? And I always am like, I'm never able to separate an agency from another agency. It's the consultants that are different. So you also have to have good consultants. We have like bad consultants. Like we all have every agency has like a different scale of type of consultant. So I think it's one of the we have a different pricing than other agencies, but is it a USP or not? We have a different name. We're a growth marketing. Is it a USP or not? It's all about is there a right match between the two companies? So I don't think it's like a question I would answer from why should they buy from me? Of course they should buy from me, but
but I think it is. I think there is a. I mean, you're not suitable for everyone. You're not suitable for someone who wants just an agency just to do the work, just to do the. Yeah. There is a sweet spot.
We have like this how you call this we have a couple of keywords they need to have, like they need to focus on the corporation, like the partnership. Really important. They need to have the ambition to grow. If that's their ambition, if it's only maintaining a campaign, we're not the right type. We want to grow. We want to let you grow, so we can grow with you. Also, there's of course need to be some budget, or a realistic budget, to have some advertising spend, and we're looking for agencies or companies who have like this marketing manager. So if we believe in this partnership can work, because there's someone who always can have like this to have some ideas with, brainstorm with, that's the right clients. But if you have the ambition to grow, then you need to buy from us.
Fine. I think my views on these things are that we are all different because we're running different races. We are all different because we have different specializations. We have different personalities. Where it's not a digital agencies isn't a category where we're all digital agencies. We're all qualified. We can all do it. We're all the same.
Exactly.
I really think that the differences are huge, and whether that's someone like I often mention David Gilroy at Conscious, where they only work with lawyers, but with between 25 and 100 desks, really specific. Or we want to be the best in the north, or we want to be the go-to employer of choice, or we have an obsessive focus on giving impact to charities, or we're the cheapest, or we're the fastest. There's different things, I think, appeal to different people. And I think
we're the prettiest.
Need to be really clear of that.
We are the prettiest agency.
You are the
prettiest agency.
So, how do you see the future for Elevate? What do you see? How do you see your future as an agency developing?
We are going really great. So on this, the future is like on the advertising and marketing. I think we'll have a big increase a couple of months and years. Also looking for acquisition of a company. That was also one of the opportunities. Also, like I already had the idea, but at the Google Elevator program, there was like this guys mentioned like, hey, if you really want to grow, don't forget to look in your nearby area to do some acquisition. So conversations already started. So we're really focused on growth. So have big plans for that. But also like the development part of our business may have a little decrease. We have set one step back before we do 2 steps forward because we need to optimize like some stuff at the back doing with Janus at the moment. So also going very well. So
Yeah,
almost
I
there.
think that 25 people is a really tough place to be. It's a really tough place to be because your new members of staff are often not fee earners. You're starting to have more and more of a board and senior management team and heads.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as the owner, it's really funny. This morning, I had a conversation with an agency, and they were saying, we've just got to not be involved, and the agency's got to run without us doing anything. And everyone has jobs and job titles, and they know what they're doing. And then, so you've got that pressure on the one side that the business should just run itself,
Exactly.
processes and system. And yet on the other hand, you've got this need to make sure that nothing quite goes wrong, and that the agency is still doing well. So it's that in on micromanaging, not micromanaging, training your people up.
And resources, very important thing. Also, what inspired me, and it worked well. Like I forgot his name, but I will thank him in like tomorrow. I've lost some a lead advertising guy. I've lost him, so we had somebody else. He left also like 2 months later, and they were like, because we're here in resources, we were already looking in December for new people, but they were like, oh, please, Tamer, don't bring us some trainees, bring us some experienced people. I was like, okay, let's change and like look for experienced people, but it's really hard to find this experienced guy with 3 or 5 years experience in advertising. So what happened that we couldn't find this guy. Also, recruiters were hunting for us, and nobody found this ideal guy we were looking for. So this guy told me, like, don't invest in people that because you have like culture issues and stuff. Invest in the people of the future. Go invest some trainees. But like years ago, we always had like every 2 or 3 months we took 1 or 2 trainees, invest in them, and like 2 or 3 months later they will start optimizing and having a relation with the customers, and that worked very well. So what we did was like, okay, I went to the office, guys, change again. We're not going to look for this team lead. We're not going to look for this digital director, this the manager. We're now going to look for 4 trainees, hire them, invest time in them. You start delegating your work to these trainees. So what brings you in a better position. So you were like 2 years now. So that means that from next month you will have like 2 people working under yourself and start delegating. And they were okay. So true. You should start delegating, and it works out very well. So it's work in progress because all just like 2 months before. But yeah,
it's always fascinating to hear how people recruit, because you hear in my shoes, you hear this conversation which goes, we need to recruit the best, and then when we recruit the best, they're really expensive, and then they bring their values and their systems and processes from the other place, which doesn't necessarily match us, and they try to make us like where they were before, and then they're gone within 18 months.
Exactly, 18 months.
And then you've got the other problem, which is students and interns, who come to the interview and then don't turn up on day one. It's like so.
Also, yeah, we all have that kind of issues. But also another thing is what we have, like, if we hire someone, they should have a benchmark. So they should have like 1 or 2 year experience in another company. Maybe not the advertising specialist we're looking for, but they need to know, like, the people who are working at Elevate, they all know like working here is great. So people who just came in as an intern, never worked at the other company, has not a benchmark like, hey, how other companies are. So they're like, hey, I want to have some experience with some bigger company or go to another way. So you always lose them within 2 years or 3 years because they have like these ambitions. But if somebody has some benchmark and worked somewhere else, and then it's coming to work at Elevate, they're like, wow, such a great company to work for. And so that's what we've added to the traineeship.
So a couple of final questions. I mean, the one which I always find I'm always interested in the answer to is, so if you were to take the same journey again, if you were to grow an agency again, what would you do? What would you have done differently?
Well, like if you go like before 8 years before, 10 years before, I worked at the Yellow Pages. So I've learned like the sales business at the Yellow Pages, and at the Yellow Pages we've started selling like packages from 150 euros per month. So we start our journey as a company owner, and like, oh, we start selling that now for ourselves, 150 euros per month, delivering work for 1,500 euros per month, and then you get like, oh, let's raise the prices, and so if I would start new, I would think bigger. I always think big, so I always do. And that's why we've won these clients, and we're not having clients for 150 euros. Not also like when we started in 2011, we quickly went higher, but it was like the starting point of our customer journey with our clients, like 150 euros. But it doesn't matter if you ask them 150 euros or 1,500 euros, you always have the same discussion. Do I pay the right price for the right work you're gonna deliver? So it's also like an advice to other people: think big, raise the prices, start higher, and so that's something I would change from day one. Aim higher.
Aim higher, aim higher. And finally, what would your any other words of wisdom or one-liners you'd share with other people running growing agencies?
Well, yeah, it's like one-liners. Yeah, I think aim high, think big. It's all a mindset, and always look at the opportunities, not at the dangers, and it all comes good. My colleagues always like, if you're ever facing issues, like today we have like a big issue, and they're like sending me messages on Slack. What are we gonna do? It's like, it all comes good. Don't be so scared. So it's always find this place. It's just a mindset thing. So
I love that. I love that. I mean, I think the mindset thing's so important. You get agency owners who are. I mean, I love your what appears to be fairly relaxed attitude. Maybe you're like a swan, your feet underneath you going like mad, and on top you're glorious. I love the idea that mindset is the thing, because there are agency owners you meet who almost bring bad karma onto themselves because they're so angry with clients and they're so angry about the work. And then there are agency owners like yourselves who just attract the work to them because they've got a good feel about them and what they're doing. And presumably that goes through the culture of the agency, I guess.
Yeah, it is. My wife's always like when she's here, she's always like, when I look at the people, they're all like you. They're all happy, and nobody's stressed out. So okay, we do have like resource problems, not anymore, but they're all like filled with work to here, but they're all like happy and still making some time to have a good day on the office. And we have a dog here, walk out the dog. So and my second name was always, it all comes good Tamer in Dutch. Then in Dutch it komt goed Tamer was my second name. So yeah, it all comes good always.
Absolutely fantastic. Been absolutely great talking to you. At the end of the video, you'll see Tamer's contact details, and you'll see the URL of Elevate. Thank you so much for being an absolutely wonderful guest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. See you tomorrow.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.